Hello luxury watch lovers! In this channel I cover the background, fundamental design features and things to consider before buying the watch. If you have a luxury watch that you'd like me to cover, let me know in the comments below. In today's video, we're going to cover the all-new Formex Reef. With its amazing sunburst dial as well as polished and brushed hands and indices, the Formex Reef is a pleasure just to look at, never mind using it to tell the time. But the watch is perfectly legible for all our time tellers. After 21 years in business, Formex has a new logo, signaling a shift in the Swiss company's market approach. The Reef, a robust dive watch with an impressive spec sheet, is the first watch to feature the new branding elements. The Reef marks a significant growth in the brand's dive watch collection and heralds a new design direction for the brand that we first saw seeds of in the Essence collection. The existing Formex dive watch, the Diver, has a design that appears to be Formula 1 inspired. The case suspension system, which mounts the case on 4 springs into a sort of chassis, gives it some serious shock absorption capabilities. On the other hand, the Reef has a more approachable design. It does without the suspension case in favor of more manageable dimensions. This move, along with the rebranding that replaces the old racing-inspired logo with a more sober and sensible rendition, should appeal to a much larger audience than the Diver could. That is not to say that the personality of the old Formex has vanished. Swiss Formex announced a company rebranding and the release of its first modern diver's watch, the Reef Automatic Chronometer, in late 2020. The Reef watch was introduced as a mini platform that allowed customers to customize some of the aesthetic options, such as the case components like the dial and bezel color. This Formex Reef Automatic Chronometer was customized with a blue dial and a green ceramic bezel. I thought the colors would be a unique combination, and they did such a good job of reminding me of all the colors I like to see while hiking, the blue of the sky and the green of the local flora. The Formex Reef is a large watch with hard edges and angles that create large surface areas around the case. The case could be considered a distraction to the dial, but I think it creates a platform that showcases both the bezel and dial quite nicely. The lugs and case walls are derived from a flat surface beneath the bezel assembly, and unlike most watches, Formex has chosen to extend that flat surface beyond the diameter of the bezel, resulting in the third tier of surface area due to a chamfer from the platform to the lug and case wall. This creates tension between the case and the dial and adds a lot of drama to the wrist, something that should appeal to the brand's die-hard fans. So what are the most important design features? The Formex Reef has a marine-grade 316L stainless steel casing with a titanium grade 2 container and is 42mm in diameter and 11.4mm in height. It boasts a beautiful sapphire crystal. When the lights go out, we get to admire its BGW9 Superluminova glow. We're looking at a lug-to-lug of 47mm and a 22mm distance between the lugs. The dial comes in multiple colors including blue, black, green or silver, and you can pair this with either a rubber strap or stainless steel bracelet. The Formex Reef has a COSC certified Sellita SW300 automatic movement. It boasts an impressive water resistance of up to 300 meters. You can aim to pay about $1,670 for this awesome racy looking watch. Here are things to consider before buying the Formex Reef. Opening with number 1, the bracelet. It's worth noting that Formex owns a large portion of their manufacturing capabilities and even provides services to other much larger brands in their region of Biel, Switzerland. This proficiency is evident in the bracelet's construction, which is secured by a quick-release buckle that houses a very simple solution for micro-adjustments. A tab within the buckle adjusts the bracelet, allowing the wearer to quickly adapt for comfort on the fly. The straps are made specifically for the Reef and are made of black rubber. It includes Formex's mostly carbon fold-over deployant, which also has a micro-adjust system. I do like the Reef diver on the strap, but I wish it was a little more in line with the rest of the watch. The strap is black in this case, while the dial and bezel are predominantly blue or green. A green rubber strap would have complemented this color scheme perfectly. Onwards to number 2, the dial and bezel. The dial and bezel have a more traditional appearance, but the execution is still quite modern. The bezel is made of zirconium oxide ceramic with raised and polished numerals and markers on an otherwise matte surface. The bezel is a 60-click unidirectional rotating bezel with a large lume pip at midnight. The ceramic effect is similar to that of a Yachtmaster, and it provides a welcome transition point between the case and the dial. The dial is vibrant, with a sunburst texture atop a gradient that darkens at the edges. Blue, green, and silver are the color options here, and the appearance is highly dependent on lighting conditions. The blue sample we got to try can easily transition from black to grey to full-on blue. The effect is quite lovely, and it encourages frequent glances at the watch throughout the day. When you do look, the highly legible hour markers and hands make it really easy to tell the time. The hour markers, each with brushed surfaces and polished chamfers, stand tall against the rehaut, angling sharply towards the dial. They catch a lot of light, but no matter what the conditions are, there's always enough lume to see. Similarly, the hour and minute hands have many dimensionalities, but never reflect as black. The Reef Diver dial is also emblazoned with the new Formex brand logo. The new logo is more timeless and luxurious than the previous one, and I believe it fits the brand really well. Even though the logo and font are different, this still feels like it belongs to the Formex watch family. A date window with steeply raked cuts is carved into the dial at 6 o'clock, where a color-matched date wheel resides. The new logo appears at 12 o'clock, while the southern portion receives the watch's name with a heap of kerning, as well as the chronometer and depth rating below. Moving on to more of a touchy subject with number 3, the feeling. One of the intriguing tests that the Reef watch passes with flying colors is how it feels when you run your fingers over it while closing your eyes. The watch is solid with smooth to the touch parts, and it has a variety of angles and finishes. This also applies to the bracelet, which is a level of refinement that you don't really see in many watches for this price point. The Formex Reef automatic chronometer is a medium-sized dive watch with a bold design, a good list of components, and more than the reasonable price given its long-term wearability and versatility. Formex was able to create a familiar-feeling mechanical dive watch with a new face, which is not an easy feat. They were also able to use it to launch a new face of the brand while extending the Swiss watchmaker's modern personality in what appears to be a natural and expected direction. The small touches of personalization are nice, but the brand could easily have gone a step further with more options. Diving in at number 4, the movement. The Reef watch is powered by a Swiss-made Sellita SW301 automatic movement with COSC chronometer certification. The movement, which is similar to the ETA 2892, runs at 4 Hz and has a power reserve of about 2 days. Formex watches, such as the Essence, gave customers the option of ordering COSC chronometer certified movements or those that had not been submitted to COSC. I believe that all versions of the Reef have COSC certified movements with a label on the dial attesting to this. This is a dive watch with a chronometer movement and a depth rating of 300 meters. Combine that with the cutting edge case and the handcrafted bracelet, and you have a compelling offering from Formex. If you had trouble getting on board with their previous designs, we'd recommend giving the Reef another chance. The Reef, in many ways, builds on Formex's success with the Essence. The latter was the company's first modern all-purpose urban leisure watch, combining sporty sentiments with an elegant, timeless style. Formex has done the same thing now with a diver's watch, combining the company's emphasis on value and features with an original design that fits into a trendy package. In some ways, the Reef is Formex's most fashionable product to date. It combines today's hobbyist fascination with classic diver-style watches and steel watches with integrated tapering bracelets. Yes, it does seem that the product fits a pre-existing mold, but when you look at the details, it is very clear that the Reef is an original product that wants to cultivate its appeal rather than trying to imitate a more expensive or popular product. Last but not least, number 5, the ceramic. The majority of the rotating bezel insert options are made of ceramic, but there is also a silver steel insert option. I prefer ceramic because of its scratch resistance. The olive or forest green color of the ceramic bezel is really appealing, lending the watch a foresty appearance. The matte bezel with polished cutout markers contrasts beautifully with the gleaming sunburst polished blue dial. Formex did an excellent job with the applied dial markers in terms of how they reflect light while also providing excellent legibility. The ability to combine excellent readability with the ability to attract visual attention is a true sign of a high-end feeling watch. The bracelet also has a slight taper near the end links, which contributes to the overall visual experience of this beautiful watch. And that wraps up my review of the Formex Reef. Thank you for sticking it out through to the very end of this video. Nothing helps my channel more. If you enjoy this type of content, let me know in the comments below what other watches you think deserve their own video. And remember, time is your greatest asset.